Hello, Amazon. This is Scott Perdue, Amazon author of over 100 books, tons of Christian books, self-help books, all kinds of stuff. Next time you're on Amazon, search my name, Scott Perdue, see if you can find any books that might extend your wisdom. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about a book I wrote called Wilderness Wisdom of Moses, Timeless Life-Changing Leadership Lessons. Today's Bible study is about Moses and the law, wisdom for justice and governance. The leadership of Moses, particularly his role in delivering God's law, stands as one of the most enduring examples of wisdom, justice, and governance in history. As a leader, Moses was entrusted with not only guiding the Israelites physically out of Egypt, but also with establishing a moral and legal framework to govern their lives as a newly liberated nation. His leadership emphasized the importance of fairness, community welfare, and accountability, principles that continue to resonate with leaders today. Through the laws he conveyed, Moses laid a foundation for social justice and governance that balanced authority with compassion. The moral and ethical guidelines, such as the Ten Commandments and the laws for social conduct, reflected God's desire for a just and harmonious community. This legacy offers profound lessons for modern leaders seeking to govern with purpose, integrity, and wisdom. The divine origin of the law. The laws delivered through Moses were not arbitrarily rules, but divine instructions that emphasized justice and compassion. Moses' role as a mediator between God and the people underscores the sacredness of these laws. In Exodus 21-2 Amplified, the introduction of the Ten Commandments begins with God's declaration. Then God spoke all these words, "I am the Lord your God, who has brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery." This opening establishes the laws as a covenant between God and his people, rooted in his care and deliverance. For modern leaders, this serves as a reminder that governance should be rooted in principles that uphold dignity, freedom, and mutual accountability. Leadership grounded in purpose and ethical commitment fosters trust and long-term stability. The Ten Commandments, foundations of justice. The Ten Commandments, Exodus 20:3-17, provides a blueprint for justice and governance, covering both divine worship and human relationships. The first four commandments emphasizes reverence for God, while the latter six address interpersonal conduct. This dual focus highlights the interconnection between a spiritual devotion and social responsibility. Worship and reverence. The first commandments, such as "You shall have no other gods before me," Exodus 23 Amplified, establish the foundation of a society centered in God's authority. Leaders today can draw from the principle by prioritizing ethical values and ensuring their decisions align with overreaching principles of justice and integrity. Interpersonal ethics. Commandments like "You shall not steal" and "You shall not bear false witness," Exodus 20:15-16 Amplified, emphasize fairness and truthfulness in relationships. These principles remain critical for leaders managing teams or governing communities, as they encourage transparency, respect, and accountability. Beyond the Ten Commandments, laws for community welfare. Moses also delivered laws that address practical aspects of governance, including justice in legal disputes, care for the vulnerable, and community welfare. These laws reveal the heart of God's justice, one that prioritizes equity and compassion. Number one, care for the marginalized. Moses emphasized protection for the marginalized, including widows, orphans, and foreigners. In Exodus 22:22-23 Amplified, God commands, "You shall not harm or oppress any widow or fatherless child. If you harm or oppress them in any way and they cry out for me, I will most certainly hear their cry." Modern leaders can adapt this principle by implementing policies that protect and uplift marginalized groups, ensuring that governance serves the needs of all and not just the privileged. Number two, fairness and justice. Moses' law also stressed impartiality and judgment. Exodus 23:2-3 Amplified states, "You shall not follow a crowd to do something evil, nor shall you testify at a trial or in a dispute so as you side with the crowd in order to prevent justice. Nor shall you favor or be partially to a poor man in his dispute simply because he is poor." This call for impartiality remains a cornerstone for modern justice systems. Leaders must strive to uphold fairness, ensuring that decisions are made based on truth and equity rather than personal bias or societal pressure. Sabbath laws and rest. Moses conveyed laws about observing the Sabbath, not only as a day of worship, but also as a provision for rest and renewal for people, animals, and the land. Exodus 23:10 through 12. This principle underscores the importance of balance and sustainability, which modern leaders can apply by prioritizing the well-being of their teams and promoting work-life balance. Balancing authority with compassion. Moses demonstrated the delicate balance between authority and compassion in administering these laws. While he upheld God's justice, he also showed empathy for the people's struggles. For instance, when the Israelites repeatedly complained and rebelled in the wilderness, Moses sought God's guidance rather than responding with anger and retribution. One striking example is Moses' plea for the Israelites after they worshipped the golden calf, Exodus 32. Despite their grave sin, Moses interceded for them, asking God to forgive them and blot him out of the book of life. This act of selflessness illustrates how compassion can coexist with firm leadership. Modern leaders can emulate Moses by addressing challenges with both conviction and empathy. Balancing authority with compassion fosters a culture of accountability while showing care for the well-being of others. Wisdom for modern governance. The principles embedded in Moses' law remain relevant for contemporary leaders in various contexts. Number one, social justice. Moses' emphasis on protecting the vulnerable and ensuring fairness serves as a model for modern society, as a model for social justice initiatives. Leaders in government, organizations, or communities can advocate for policies that address inequality and promote inclusivity. Ethical leadership. The moral integrity required by the Mosaic laws highlight the importance of ethical decision-making. Leaders today must prioritize transparency, honesty, and accountability, ensuring their actions align with their values. Community welfare. Moses' law reflect a deep concern for the collective good, from ensuring rest through Sabbath laws to fostering mutual care among community members. Modern leaders can draw from this example by promoting policies that enhance well-being, sustainability, and social cohesion. Modern leadership examples inspired by Moses. Advocating for justice. Consider a nonprofit leader working to combat systematic inequality. By prioritizing fairness and advocating for the marginalized, they reflect Moses' commitment to justice and compassion. Balancing authority with empathy. A corporate executive navigating layoffs due to economic challenges can balance authority and compassion by communicating transparently, offering support to affected employees, and making decisions with fairness and empathy. Leading with integrity. Government officials who resist corruption and uphold ethical standards embody the wisdom of integrity modeled by Moses in his governance. Faith as a leadership foundation. Moses' governance was deeply rooted in his faith and obedience to God. His reliance on divine guidance ensured that his leadership aligned with God's purposes rather than personal ambition. Proverbs 3:5-6 Amplified encapsulates this principle. Trust in and rely confidently on the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding. In all your ways know and acknowledge and recognize him, and he will make your path straight and smooth, removing obstacles that block your way. For modern leaders, faith can provide a steady foundation amid the uncertainties and complexities of leadership. Trusting in higher principles and seeking wisdom through prayer or reflection can guide leaders to make decisions that align with their purpose and values. A life-changing leadership lesson from Moses. The most profound lesson from Moses' role in delivering God's law is the importance of leading with justice, compassion, and purpose. Moses' laws were not merely rules, but a framework for living in harmony with God and one another. They reflected a vision of a community built on mutual respect, care for the vulnerable, and accountability to a higher standard. Modern leaders can draw from Moses' example by striving to govern with integrity, prioritize the well-being of others, and balance authority with empathy. Leadership rooted in these principles fosters trust, inspires collaboration, and creates a legacy that endures. As Moses demonstrated, true leadership is not about wielding power, but about serving others and upholding principles that promote justice, compassion, and community welfare. By applying these timeless lessons, leaders can lead with wisdom and purpose, leaving a lasting impact on those they serve. All right, well, that concludes this section. Thank you for following me through the video. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I've got tons of more videos coming up. Also, I'm an Amazon author of over 100 books. Please check out my stuff on Amazon by searching Scott Perdue on Amazon. Tons of great wisdom for you there. Definitely want to check into it. Anyway, have a blessed day. Talk to you on the next video.